Hi guys, I realized I haven't given you a tour of the polytunnel lately, so let me show you what's going on up here. Let's go in. Everything's doing well. It has been such a hot summer though that my plastic tables have warped, so I may have to find some kind of solution for that. Maybe I'll get some boards when the price of lumber comes down, but if you see a kind of a crazy configuration, it's because everything is slanting and there are some pits in the table. So a few plants have actually fallen over during watering. So it's messed me up a little bit, but otherwise the plants I have here are doing pretty well. I just gave them a big drink of water with the hose. And that's also why you may see some gravel and dirt all over the place. But let's start down here. Down here I have my dragon fruit plant. And I showed you this in a couple videos ago. But what I have done is, this is the main one where the moon cactus was that I removed a couple years ago. And it just keeps putting out arms. So just a couple weeks ago, I took one of the arms, looked a little bit like this, how it grows, and I just popped them all down in the soil. So I did a little bit of pruning and further propagation on this one. I left some dirt on there, but that one's going to look really nice. So all of these new plants have come from this main one, which is so much fun. And then these are propagations. These are getting quite huge themselves. These are propagations from my beaver tail cacti. Let me show you over here. They're getting so big and unwieldy and falling over. They're very heavy. And I'm starting to wonder how I'm going to bring them in for the winter. So it's quite messy over here, pardon the mess, but I just wanted to show you how big these have gotten. So as I did with a couple of my other opuntias, I'm thinking about restarting these guys too. So let me know your opinion if I should restart these big plants. And I was thinking of, disposing of the corky bottoms. They had gotten too much of a frost one year, and I think that's what caused it, although age can cause it as well. But let me show you back over here. This actually doesn't look so nice anymore. If you can see, it's all splotchy. So I think one of my next big projects in the polytunnel is going to be to restart these. So although they're doing well and they have lots of new growth on them, I do think they need some attention. Oh, I forgot to start over here. Let me show you these. This is just a little simple dish garden, and I did have a third cactus in here. I don't even remember what it was, but it didn't survive. So now I kind of have just a simple look there. I like it with the little pagoda. And by the way, if you want to add little ornaments to your dish gardens, this one is from a pet store in the aquarium section. So that's sometimes fun to explore and see what you can find. And this was from a garden video I did about birds eating my sedum. And all of my cuttings have rooted. They've all rooted in. And it looks like it needs a little water. But that's in here with the cacti for now. And then let me pan over here. So we talked about the beaver tail cacti. And here's my adenium, commonly known as the desert rose. And they're doing okay. It's been really brutally hot this summer. I think almost extra hot. And I have not fertilized them. So I think now that maybe it's going to be a little bit of a cooling trend. And when I say cooling trend, I mean 85 to 90. It's still going to be hot. I think I'm going to give it some of the bloom booster or super bloom fertilizer that I have. And I'll see if I can get them to flower. They're beautiful flowers when they flower. But look, the caudexes are getting a little thick at the bottom. So they're doing okay despite the heat. They are growing and maturing. But I think they are doing fine considering. And then here are all the prickly things coming up. Got quite a few mammillarias. And my opuntias got set down. These are the refreshes I did right here and here as well. I did decide to plant up those 2 larger pads, and I'm sure they'll root out just fine. There's my opuntia snow in the back, the propagations and the original plant. It's looking much better. It kept falling over from the weight of some of those pads. And I did lose an Echinobivia rainbow bursts. I lost one of those, but the ones that are left are looking okay. One of them has 3 pups on the top. And there's my Nodocactus Lennonhausii. And it looks really white at the top, but that's how it grows. So I know that it's doing okay. Like I said, guys, it's been super, super hot. And I know it sounds funny, but the cacti stop growing during those super hot periods. And then they'll grow again when it cools off. This one is the Opuntia violacea, and it hasn't done much since I've gotten it. I don't know if you can see, it doesn't even look so great. But I keep it in its pot while it looks alive. The last one I had put out pads and did really well. But, and then I forgot what happened to that one, but it did die. But for a while it thrived. This one has failed to thrive from the beginning, so I'm not sure what to think about that one. And then this one back here is a very nice looking opuntia. Let's see if we can find the name tag. I haven't rotated these in a while either. It's probably a good idea. This is an Opuntia basilaris, or basilaris. That one's looking nice and strong. And I have an Opuntia microdiasis behind it. That's doing well. And I have some mammillaria. This is a mammillaria negepansis. Pardon my pronunciations if they're incorrect. And this one has been kind of an off color for a while, but you know, it's still kicking. It looks like it has chlorosis, and I have given it quite a bit of fertilizer in, you know, a couple months apart, but it might be greening up a bit. And then I have my barrel cactus in the back, and that's the one with the white spines. That seems to be doing fine. And my golden barrel here. And this is where there's a big dip in the table, probably due to the weight from the barrel cacti. They're pretty heavy plants. They hold a lot of water. And here's another golden spined one here. Little bit smaller, but beautiful. They're so pretty. I just love them. They really are beautiful. But note to self, never put them in the center of the table where there's the least support underneath. Lesson learned there. And then this little guy's been kind of a reddish purple all through the heat, the Gymnocalacium saglioni. But if you look really closely, I hope you can see it like I do. Looks like it's budding up. There's a few buds starting. I can see them popping out. So that will be one of my few flowering cacti this year. And I just watered, but I think the next water I'm going to give them Super Bloom again, because I think that will help any of them that are inclined to bloom. We'll see what happens with that. But this is a real mix right in here. I believe this is another Gymnocalacium. And this is a Mammillaria negepansis, same as this one, but it's a little bit older, so it's gotten taller. Those two are the same, this one and this one. And then there's a little bit of etiolation on this guy, Nodocactus magnifica, formerly known as Parodia. Some people might still call them parodias. And then we have a Chrysocactus straussii here. Nice fuzzy little character. And my tiny Oreosarius trolleyi is falling over. Maybe it's just growing towards the sun. Let's hope so. I believe this is another Gymnocalacium here. And then my Pilosarius azureus, they both look quite good. This is a Pilosarius pachysclatus. That one seems to be doing well. A beautiful blue color. Looks really nice. And then I have a Trichosarius pachinoi in the back. And that's the San Pedro cactus. And I'm excited to show you that it's putting out some pups. Look at those adorable little pups growing at the top. So that's doing well. This little one, the stalk at the side here, was falling over and I kind of propped it up, and I think it's doing better now. But it's also putting out pups. So I was happy to see that. It does look a little skinny, but if it's putting out pups, that's good. It means it has a good amount of energy for growth. And this is the Stenosarius pruneosus. This is 3 smaller ones here in a cluster. And this is my taller one here. And this is my aloe repot, and it's got a bit of sunburn. This might be a little bit too much sun in this location. I know it sounds funny to say it's too much sun for an aloe, but it's had kind of a reddish hue. Although it's still growing, it's doing okay. I think it's going to be happier inside when I end up moving it back in there. So mixed reviews on that one, how that's doing. And then we have this little dish garden. One cactus died here, and I'm not sure which one that was. I don't remember what I pulled out of there. But I'll tell you what's going very well is this Opuntia, I think it's Opuntia cylindrica. And this is one of the prickliest cactuses I have. It even has a new shoot here. If you can see that. But this one is so dangerous to work with, but look how nice it looks. It's the tall element in this dish garden. And then I have some things up here. My rat tail cactus doesn't look great. I think it might need a little application of neem oil. But I don't really like to do that because bugs have access to these plants in the polytunnel. It's half open on the other side. The door is usually half open, so I don't really like to spray anything at all because I know that the outdoor bugs come in and hang out in here as well. But my pencil cactus is looking great. It's got some beautiful green growth, and I love the color of the new growth on here. I hope you can tell the difference. It's like a bright chartreuse. And I may have to move this down. It's touching the top of the polytunnel. So I'm glad we're in here today looking at this. And these are my dragon fruit seedlings. Overall doing fine. I think that some of the weaker ones have been weeded out by the stronger ones. As you can see, there's a little dead one under here, and I think, you know, they're so overcrowded in there that that's what happens. These are aloes and haworthias together. That could use a little work. This is a spice cactus, and it gets these really cute little round leaves, but the new growth starts kind of tall and thin. Actually, don't we all get a little plumper with age? So it's just doing the same thing we usually do, but here's a new little area here. You can see the very new growth here. And I think I might need to spray this one with a little bit of neem oil. I'm going to come through here and spray a few of the plants with neem oil, I think. Then I have an aloe in the back. That might be a zebra aloe. and it's doing okay. And then this aloe's doing pretty well. I'm not sure what kind this is called. If you know any of these names that I don't have tags for, just let me know down in the comments. I learn a lot from you guys, and I'm not the best at tagging plants. Then I have the burro's tail in the back. Let me go around this side and show you. It's draping down. So I think it likes its position. But this is one, anytime you move it, even if it's just an inch to the left or right, it will drop its leaves. It's very sensitive. So that's one you have to be kind of careful with. And then down here, I have my cuttings from the succulent that my sister brought me, and I'm excited to show you that there's a little plant growing on this one. So that is really exciting. Most of them I think rooted, and I just tucked the little ends into the soil. But look at that, guys. I think we already have a new plant. That sure was fast. And then I have a beautiful aloe oik here. And next to it a gasteria. I did lose my dwarf gasteria, so I'm happy to still have that one. And this is my atrocious aloe. Look how well it's doing. It did so well from its restart. This is why I always like to restart plants. Isn't that beautiful? I also like how the pot is showing some of the minerals from the water. It's really pretty when the pots start to age that way. But I love how that came out. It looks really fantastic, and I keep talking about that because that was a succulent success there. And then in the back I have, I think, a star aloe, and that's doing okay as well. And here's my little dish garden. I forgot what we put in the middle of it, but that did fall over pretty quickly. But everything else took to the transplant. And look, guys, we even have a little baby forming here. I hope you can see that little pup. Isn't that adorable? So that's a success story there overall, except for losing one. And then back here we have my mistletoe cactus, which I had to put up on a pot because it's starting to really hang down beautifully. That looks fantastic. And that has a really interesting way of sending out branches too. That's one of my favorite plants. I really love it, and it's quite easy once it likes its spot. And then here's I think this is a hybrid Haworthia aloe mix, and it looks okay. This is one that I restarted, and it did root in, but as you can see, I think it was getting too much sun, and I did move this over to this side of the tunnel, which is shadier. And then here's a little dish garden, and this does okay. This seems to be a dwarf burro's tail, or maybe it has a different name, but that does well. But this is in my kitchen all winter, so it's not one that looks fantastic, but it is a pretty pot, and a few of the plants do fine. All of them, I think, have suffered a little bit with this really, really hot summer. And I do come in here every week or two and give them a good water, but I'm always afraid of overwatering too. So that's how the plant collection's looking. There have been a few losses and a kind of wavy, dippy table, causing some things to topple over. But other than that, I would say everything's doing pretty well. And I hope all of your plants are happy this summer and you're enjoying them. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I'll see you next time. Bye.